In the annals of automotive history, few vehicles possess the mythological status of the Shelby Cobra. Born from an audacious collaboration between a dying British sports car manufacturer and an American racing legend with a heart condition, this deceptively simple machine would revolutionize the automobile industry, challenge the dominance of Ferrari on racetracks around the world, and become an enduring symbol of unbound American ingenuity. Forged in the fires of personal ambition, corporate desperation, and Cold War competition, the Shelby Cobra represents so much more than just a car. It is a testament to what can be achieved when vision transcends conventional wisdom, when performance is prioritized above all else, and when an entire nation decides to prove that it can build the best sports car in the world. To understand the significance of the Shelby Cobra, we must first understand the world that created it. In the early 1960s, the global sports car market was dominated by European manufacturers. Aston Martin, Jaguar, Ferrari, and Porsche ruled the roads and racetracks of the Western world. Meanwhile, in America, the Chevrolet Corvette struggled to shed its image as a flashy but ultimately inferior product, overshadowed by the engineering excellence of its European competitors. This was an era when automotive competition carried national prestige. Winning at Le Mans wasn't merely a sporting achievement. It was a statement about the industrial capabilities of one's country. The space race and the Cold War provided constant pressure to demonstrate American technological prowess. Into this charged atmosphere would step a man whose very name would become synonymous with American performance, Carroll Shelby. Over the next 6 years, from 1962 to 1968, Shelby American would produce approximately 1,000 vehicles bearing the Cobra name. These cars would span 3 distinct generations, from the diminutive 260 cubic inch roadsters to the fire-breathing 427 monsters that would earn the terrifying nickname the Widowmaker. They would compete against the finest machinery Ferrari and Jaguar could offer, and more often than not, they would win. This is the complete story of the Shelby Cobra, not just the automobile, but the entire phenomenon. The genius who conceived it, the desperate British company that made it possible, the American engineering that brought it to life, the racing program that validated it, and the enduring legacy that continues to inspire automotive enthusiasts more than 6 decades later. Today, we'll trace the complete journey of this legendary automobile. We'll explore the circumstances that brought Carroll Shelby and AC cars together, the engineering challenges of mating British chassis to American V8 power, the racing program that pushed both car and driver to their limits, and a lasting impact the Cobra has had on automotive culture. Whether you're a lifelong Shelby enthusiast or discovering the Cobra story for the first time, this comprehensive exploration will reveal why this car remains one of the most significant vehicles ever created. Carroll Hall Shelby was born on January 11, 1923, in Leona, Texas, a tiny community in the eastern part of the state. His childhood was marked by the economic devastation of the Great Depression, and like many young men of his generation, Shelby found escape through automobiles and speed. Working at a local garage during his teenage years, he developed an intuitive understanding of how machines worked that would serve him throughout his life. In 1942, Shelby enrolled in the United States Army Air Forces, where he trained as a pilot. He flew 50 combat missions as a transport pilot in the China-Burma-India theater, an experience that instilled in him the courage and resourcefulness that would define his later career. After the war, Shelby briefly attended the University of Houston with aspirations of becoming an engineer, but the world of competitive racing proved too compelling to resist. Shelby's natural talent behind the wheel quickly became apparent. He began competing in sports car races in the late 1940s, driving everything from Cadillacs to Jaguars to Ferraris. By the mid-1950s, he had established himself as one of America's most promising sports car drivers. His ability to extract maximum performance from machines that were often inferior to those of his European competitors earned him respect throughout the racing community. Shelby's international racing career reached its zenith in 1957, when he finished second overall at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, driving an Aston Martin DBR1. This result established Shelby as a serious contender on the world racing stage and gave him intimate knowledge of what it took to compete with the best European manufacturers. However, fate had other plans for the Texan driver. In 1958, Shelby was diagnosed with a serious heart condition that would end his competitive driving career. The diagnosis was devastating. Shelby was told he would have to drastically curtail his physical activities, which meant his racing career was effectively over. Yet rather than succumbing to despair, Shelby found new purpose. His competitive fire, his engineering acumen, and his unshakable belief in American manufacturing capability would soon find expression in an entirely new venture. In 1959, Carroll Shelby founded Shelby American, initially operating from a modest facility in Venice, California. The company's initial focus was on high-performance parts and racing preparation for imported sports cars. Shelby's reputation as a driver and his growing network of industry connections provided a foundation for the ambitious venture that would follow. However, it would take a chance encounter in England to transform Shelby American from a tuning shop into an automobile manufacturer. To understand the genesis of the Cobra, we must travel across the Atlantic to the town of Thames Ditton, Surrey, England. There, since 1918, AC Cars have been producing automobiles characterized by their blend of British elegance and sporting capability. By the late 1950s, the company's flagship product was the AC Ace, an elegant roadster that had been in production since 1953. The AC Ace was a remarkable vehicle in many respects. Its lightweight chassis, designed by John Tajiro, provided excellent handling characteristics, while the reliable AC 2.0-liter inline-six engine delivered adequate power for touring purposes. The car had proven itself in competition, particularly in the hands of privateers who appreciated its balanced handling and reasonable cost. However, by the late 1950s, the Ace faced an uncertain future. In 1961, AC Cars found itself at a crossroads. The company's aging inline-six engine was becoming increasingly uncompetitive in an era of rising performance expectations, and production volumes had declined to unsustainable levels. Company executive Charles H. Seniacano reached out to American manufacturers in search of a modern power plant that could breathe new life into the Ace. Ford Motor Company, fresh from the success of their small-block V8 introduced in 1955, seemed like a promising partner. The lightweight compact V8 was exactly the kind of modern, powerful engine that could transform the AC Ace into a genuine competitor. Initial negotiations proceeded, and AC began adapting their chassis to accept the American V8. However, as the project advanced, Ford's interest began to wane. The corporate giant had larger concerns than supplying engines to a struggling British sports car manufacturer. It was in this moment of crisis that Carroll Shelby entered the picture. Through his racing connections and industry reputation, Shelby learned of AC's predicament and saw an opportunity that neither the British company nor Ford had fully recognized. Here was a proven chassis, waiting for a powerful engine. Here was an American manufacturer with engines but seemingly lacking the vision to pair them with the right vehicle. Shelby approached AC with a proposal. He would establish a partnership to produce a high-performance version of the Ace powered by the Ford F-8, specifically for the American market. The agreement, finalized in early 1962, called for Shelby American to receive the complete chassis and body from AC, which would then be fitted with a Ford engine and transmission before being sold through Shelby's distribution network. The result would be the first true Anglo-American hybrid sports car, the Shelby Cobra. The name Cobra emerged from a somewhat unlikely source. While the visual connection between the Ace's rounded nose and a serpent's head is apparent, the actual naming was more pragmatic. Shelby had considered various names including Snake and Viper before settling on Cobra, a choice that would prove prophetic as the car's competitive nature would soon become legendary. In February 1962, the first prototype Cobra arrived in the United States. This car, chassis number CSX 2000, represented the culmination of Shelby's vision and the first tangible evidence of his audacious gamble. The vehicle was immediately subjected to rigorous testing, and the results exceeded even Shelby's optimistic expectations. The combination of the AC Ace's responsive chassis with the Ford small block V8's abundant power created something genuinely revolutionary. Where the original Ace had struggled to reach 120 miles per hour, the Cobra could exceed 130 miles per hour with ease. More importantly, the torque-rich V8 engine provided instant acceleration that European sports cars with their smaller displacement engines simply couldn't match. The handling, while somewhat different from the original Ace's character, remained impressively balanced. Production of the Shelby Cobra began in earnest in 1962, with the initial vehicles designated as the Model 260. These cars were powered by a 260 cubic inch, 4.3-liter version of Ford's small block V8, producing approximately 260 horsepower in street tune. While not dramatically more powerful than the best European competitors, the Cobra's combination of lightweight construction and American V8 torque created a driving experience unlike anything previously available. The 260 Cobra was priced at $5,995, positioning it as a serious competitor to the Chevrolet Corvette while undercutting European rivals like Jaguar and Aston Martin by a significant margin. Initial production volumes were modest, with Shelby American constructing approximately 75 examples during the 1962 model year. Each car was hand-built, with the chassis arriving from England before being fitted with the engine, transmission, and interior trim in Shelby's California facility. By 1963, Shelby recognized that the 260 cubic inch engine, while adequate, wasn't providing the performance advantage he had envisioned. Ford's introduction of the 289 cubic inch, 4.7-liter V8 in their passenger car lineup provided the solution. The larger engine delivered approximately 270 horsepower in street trim, with race versions producing significantly more power. The 289-powered Cobra represented a significant evolution of the formula. Beyond the increased displacement, Shelby and his engineering team refined the suspension, brakes, and chassis dynamics to handle the additional power. The result was a vehicle that could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in approximately 5.5 seconds and reach top speeds approaching 150 miles per hour, performance that placed it squarely in competition with vehicles costing 2 or 3 times as much. The 1964 Sierra Leone and Leone's Mans campaign had revealed the Cobra's fundamental limitation. While the 289 engine provided adequate power for most applications, it lacked the sheer performance necessary to consistently defeat Ferrari's largest displacement vehicles. Carroll Shelby recognized that only a dramatic increase in engine displacement could bridge the gap, leading to the development of what would become one of the most fearsome power plants in automotive history. The 427 cubic inch, 7.0-liter V8 represented a clean-sheet redesign of Ford's small block architecture. Featuring a longer stroke, reinforced block, and high-performance cylinder heads, the new engine produced approximately 425 horsepower in street trim and could be tuned to produce 500 horsepower or more for racing applications. This massive increase in displacement came with corresponding increases in weight, size, and mechanical stress. When the first 427 Cobras reached customers in 1965, drivers discovered that they had acquired something far more demanding than any previous Cobra. The massive engine's power delivery was immediate and overwhelming, with 500 pound-feet of torque available at just 3,000 revolutions per minute. This instantaneous thrust meant that even experienced drivers needed to recalibrate their understanding of vehicle control. The 427's power-to-weight ratio was unprecedented for a production sports car. With approximately 500 horsepower and a curb weight of just over 2,300 pounds, the Cobra could accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds and reach top speeds exceeding 180 miles per hour. These were supercar figures from an era when such performance was virtually unheard of in street-legal vehicles. The 427 Cobra's prodigious power quickly earned it a fearsome reputation. The combination of massive torque, rear-wheel drive, and relatively primitive tires created a vehicle that could easily overwhelm even skilled drivers. The slightest application of throttle in the wrong situation could result in catastrophic oversteer, spinning the car out of control in fractions of a second. The nickname Widowmaker was not hyperbole. Multiple accidents involving 427 Cobras resulted in fatalities, including several experienced racing drivers who should have been more than capable of handling such a vehicle. The car's willingness to swap ends without warning meant that survival often depended on luck as much as skill. Insurance companies began refusing coverage or charging astronomical premiums for 427 Cobra owners. Looking back, modern enthusiasts often debate whether the 427 Cobra's reputation was deserved or merely the product of driver overconfidence. The fact remains that this vehicle demanded a level of respect that few contemporary sports cars required. Those who understood its character and approached it with appropriate caution could extract extraordinary performance safely, but the margin for error was vanishingly small. By 1967, the Shelby Cobra's time had passed. The combination of rising insurance costs, increasing competition from both American and European manufacturers, and Ford's shifting corporate priorities made continued production increasingly difficult. Carroll Shelby, always the pragmatist, recognized that the market for high-performance sports cars was evolving in directions that did not favor the Cobra's formula. Ford's massive investment in the GT40 program, aimed specifically at defeating Ferrari at Le Mans, had consumed corporate resources that might otherwise have supported the Cobra. Additionally, the success of the Mustang and other muscle cars had created new market segments that competed with the Cobra for enthusiast attention. The writing was on the wall for the legendary Roadster. Over its 6-year production run, Shelby American produced approximately 998 Cobra vehicles, though the exact number remains subject to debate due to the involvement of multiple facilities and the use of various identification systems. The breakdown by model year provides insight into the Cobra's evolution. The 260 models represent the earliest and rarest examples, while the 289 models constitute the largest portion of production. Among the most sought-after variants are the 427 Cobra, particularly the ultra-rare 427 Super Snake experimental models, and the 427 Roadster Racing homologation specials. Competition cars, whether factory-built or converted from street examples, command significant premiums over standard production vehicles. The limited production numbers, combined with the passage of time and inevitable attrition, have made clean, original examples increasingly scarce. The Shelby Cobra's influence extends far beyond the vehicles themselves. The success of the original demonstrated that American manufacturers could produce world-class sports cars, encouraging investment in the high-performance sector that would shape the industry for decades to follow. More tangibly, the Cobra formula of European chassis dynamics married to American V8 power would be emulated by numerous manufacturers and privateers in subsequent years. Carroll Shelby would remain involved with the automotive industry until his death in 2012, consulting for Ford on high-performance projects and maintaining his connection to the Cobra legacy. The company bearing his name continues to produce modified vehicles that honor the Cobra tradition, while replica manufacturers ensure that enthusiasts who cannot afford original examples can experience something resembling the original driving experience. The Shelby Cobra has become one of the most valuable collector cars in the world. Original examples, particularly those with documented history and race provenance, regularly command 7-figure sums at auction. The most desirable specimens, including early production cars, competition vehicles, and special variants, have sold for more than $5 million. The appreciation of Cobra values reflects both the vehicle's historical significance and its enduring emotional appeal. Unlike some collectibles whose value is based purely on speculation, the Cobra's worth is grounded in genuine performance capability and racing heritage. Investors and collectors alike recognize that the combination of limited production, documented history, and pure driving appeal makes the Cobra a unique asset class. For those who own or aspire to own a Shelby Cobra, the question of preservation versus enjoyment presents ongoing challenges. Original examples are increasingly valuable, with condition being paramount to maintaining value. Yet these vehicles were designed to be driven, and there is an inherent tension between preserving historical artifacts and using them as their creators intended. Fortunately, robust communities exist for Cobra enthusiasts, with organizations like the Shelby American Automobile Club providing resources for owners and enthusiasts alike. Historic racing events, Concours d'Elegance gatherings, and regional clubs ensure that the Cobra legacy remains vibrant and accessible to new generations. The car that Carroll Shelby created to prove American engineering excellence continues to inspire passion more than 60 years after its introduction. The Shelby Cobra represents far more than an automobile. It is a symbol of American ambition, a testament to what can be achieved when vision transcends conventional boundaries. Carroll Shelby, the heart condition that ended his racing career, and the desperate British company on the other side of the Atlantic, all the elements came together to create something that transcended the sum of its parts. From the first prototype that arrived in California in 1962 to the fire-breathing 427 monsters that terrorized racetracks and roadways alike, the Cobra's story is one of audacious ambition, engineering excellence, and uncompromising performance. The drivers who mastered these demanding machines, the engineers who refined them, and the enthusiasts who have preserved them all have contributed to an enduring legacy. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the Shelby Cobra story, we invite you to explore our other classic sports car content. Subscribe to our channel for weekly explorations of the vehicles that shaped automotive history, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. What are your thoughts on the Shelby Cobra? Is it the greatest American sports car ever built? Or does another vehicle claim that title? Share your perspective in the comments below. We read every response and love hearing from fellow automotive enthusiasts. Until next time, keep exploring the stories behind the machines that move us. This has been Obsolete Extraordinary, and we'll see you on the next journey through automotive history.